Hello, Discord and YouTube members. This is the first time I've recorded like this. If you have feedback, please let me know. Also, I just got out of the shower. I'm not wearing any makeup. This is the kind of behind the scenes content that you get. This very laid back, like, absolutely no previous preparation added. Just true behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so about a year ago, not quite a year ago, I made this DIY art school kind of self-taught study plan that I turned into a video. That video performed really well, but I've kind of failed at actually like doing the things that I listed in that video. And I've made a lot of good art the past year. So it's not quite that like I failed at improving. It's just that I think this plan didn't really work for me. I think it was a little bit too structured, or like not structured enough in some ways. So I kind of want to redo this a little bit and actually come up with like a more coherent plan for what I would like to do over the course of this year. So let's take a look at the existing plan before we like change everything, right? So I have some overarching goals for the study plan, 2 of them in fact. 1, to be able to make the art that I want to make as fast as possible, and 2, to build a foundation of skills and tools I can use to solve any obstacle I face while painting. Those are some pretty big goals. And then, of course, we have all of these classes that I want to take. These are mostly classes at New Masters Academy. New Masters Academy is probably the most valuable online art like education platform I have ever found. Like, their classes are so valuable, and they're taught by professional artists who are sometimes not the best or most charismatic instructors, frankly, but the content, the educational value is truly second to none, especially for the price. Like, if you think about how much a 4-year degree at an art school costs, like tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes, comparing it to like the subscription model of this place, which is like pricey for a subscription model. Like, it's like $35 a month, I think, for their basic plan, or like $40. They might have changed their pricing since I last checked, but I have like an affiliate relationship with them. Full disclosure, I've been trying to work on a deal with them, like a sponsorship deal, like since September. It hasn't gone through yet, but they're just so valuable, and I really love their classes, but I just like have not been able to find the time really to do them. And I have this like plan that I want to execute in order, but I think that it's maybe just not right for me. Like, it's not engaging enough. I'm gonna admit to you guys, I'm really lazy, okay? Like, I don't have a ton of free time. I do what I can, but like when it comes to like art education, sometimes I just want to go the easy route, or I just want to have fun and like do paintings, and that's awesome. That's a really important part of like improvement, right? Is practice, but I want to implement more deliberate practice. I just don't want it to be so structured in a class format all of the time necessarily. So I've structured this curriculum before these new changes that I want to implement into 6 modules. And module 1 is about drawing basics. Module 2 is like advanced fundamentals like perspective, anatomy, color theory, basics of oil painting. And then module 3 is about like a more focused introduction to painting. By the way, like this plan is really focused around the kind of art that I want to make, right? Which is going back to one of our main goals up here. But it's all about like landscape painting and still life painting for oil painters, and like gouache is like kind of a secondary component to that. But that's like the kind of art that I really passionate about making, and so it's the kind of stuff that I really want to do more of, right? And it's the kind of stuff that I feel really passionate about learning. So that's kind of what this is about. And then we do have some portrait stuff like coming in later, which is a skill that I want to get better at, but I don't feel like super called to do necessarily, but it would be nice to have in my toolkit. So Module 3 is an introduction to painting. This is a more focused study into landscape painting, composition, and kind of form and rendering. And then Module 4 is like really about landscape painting, and landscape painting like in interior painting, like painting indoors, like interior scenes, like a dining room, a living room, a bedroom, etc. Sorry, I'm talking really fast. Module 4 has a couple of classes in it. I've tried to keep things like to 3 to 5 classes per module. Module 4 has visual storytelling, designing your landscape painting, and a couple of landscape courses. And then Module 5 is really about portraits and figure painting, which is, again, a skill that I would like to have, but one that I don't feel super called or like passionate about necessarily. So we have some head drawing and like a contemporary realism like portraiture class. And then Module 6 is just the extension, like the natural continuation of that first portrait and figure module. So there's portrait and figures part 1 and part 2. And this is a course, like a course list, a self-study plan that I designed myself, that I tried to like design such that it would feel very natural continuing from one course to the next, but also keep me engaged. And I think this was a decent plan, but because it's just modules, there's no time pressure. Like, there's no self-imposed deadline on me to finish anything, which on one hand is great, but if you've ever taken an online class where you can do it at your own pace, you'll know that you drag your feet and maybe, like, you know, take months off and don't feel super guilty because there was no homework, there was no accountability there, and it was just kind of, you know, do it at your own pace, which means that you don't really have to do it at all if you don't want to. So there are a couple of other things that I have in here as well, like which I have all of these classes and these books that I want to study in this database, right, that correspond to different modules over here. So if you look on the curriculum, you can see that we have, you know, all of the courses that I want to take separated into modules, and then the type, whether it's an NMA course, a Skillshare class, a book, an independent artist class, the progress, the URL, and the category. So is it art theory, painting, landscapes, drawing, illustration, etc.? What I want to do instead is to do it, I think, on quarters, and then maybe focusing even more to like months, possibly. So what do I want to focus on in the beginning of this year? I want to study the Essential Techniques of Landscape Drawing. That's a book that I have. I would love to look at that more. And let's also put Landscape Drawing Crash Course in there, and Visual Development Dynamic Sketching. I liked that class when I was taking it at NMA briefly. I want to do more of that. What is this class about exactly? Let's take a look at that. Color Theory Bootcamp. Disney art director and color expert Bill Perkins takes you on a thrilling journey into the subject of color theory. It will teach you how to think about the components of color, how to use color to create visual effects and mood, how to quickly mix and block color harmonies and other relationships. So this looks very portrait-based, which I don't love. I wish that their classes weren't so figure-based sometimes. Let's look at New Masters Academy, because I made this course plan a while ago, and they probably added other courses since then. So let's take a look at other stuff they have. This video is not sponsored. I just like them. Okay, so where can I look at just the course guide? Okay, here it is. Oh, still life painting, introduction to still life painting. That could be fun. Okay. Should we do a still life painting class maybe? Or drawing lessons from art history? That sounds interesting as well. This is like my favorite part of doing these. Like, it gives me all of the thrill of planning my courses, like in college or whatever. I loved thinking about what classes I was going to take the next semester, and I think this is kind of like very similar to that. Also, this is a pretty chill, relaxed video. I'm sorry if it's a little bit boring. Okay. I definitely do want to take that dynamic sketching class. And I'm not seeing a ton of new classes that I hadn't considered before. Okay, let's maybe do Let's look at the still life courses and see if their descriptions have any more insight. Still life painting in the site size method. That is a chunky course. 54 hours? Oh my god. Okay, well, this looks very comprehensive. Which is cool. I would love to get better at this. Let's add this to my plan. Do I already have it? I don't think so. Let's call this site size still life painting. And it is NMA. We have not started it yet. This is the link to it. And it's a painting class. And let's not give it anything yet. Cool. Actually, yeah, I do want that to be in Q1. Okay. Maybe we can try Color 3 Bootcamp. I don't know if I'm really going to like it, but we can give it a shot. And then I would also like to study Color and Light for that. And then let's think about quarter 2. So let's put that in quarter 2. I don't know if I want to take a watercolor gouache sketchbook class. I think maybe we can delete that one. What is creative composition? Okay, taught by Steve Huston. Okay. And then how is that different from composition for visual artists? Okay, I think I like this one better. Yeah, so the other one was creative composition. Let's go ahead and delete that one and take composition for visual artists instead. So let's put that in Q2. Actually, do I want to take that in Q1? I kind of do. I kind of want to take all of the classes right now. Oh, that's such a bad thing to do. Let's take a look at landscape drawing crash course. Oh wait, I think I finished this. Okay, so landscape drawing crash course, I completed that. Which means that this one was in progress and this one I've already taken a look at. So that's a little bit more doable. And then if I want to, I can put things over into Q2 and kind of shuffle it around that way. But okay, I would like to look at maybe color and light in Q2. And is there anything in oil painting for beginners that I don't already know? I've been oil painting for like years now. It does look pretty comprehensive. We can give it a shot, I suppose. Maybe put that in Q2. And these are all books that I have right now in Q3. Maybe in Q4 we can take maybe in Q3, sorry, we can take visual storytelling and designing your landscape painting. And then in quarter 4, I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to take those Renaissance head drawing classes right now. Which means that I think maybe we can take that site-size still life painting in quarter 4 and just delete these. That means that... Okay, let's actually hide the completed ones. So I have 4 things to do in quarter 1 now. And yeah, okay, this feels, I think, a little bit more natural. A couple of these are books that I want to study. And I also have some more books that I want to study that we should add in here. Like I have Mastering Composition by Ian Roberts, which is a book. And I've not really started reading that yet. We can put that under art theory, maybe. And where would that where would that fit best? We have composition classes kind of peppered throughout here. I don't want to do it all the way in Q4. Maybe we can tentatively put it in Q2. And then, are there other books that I have in here? Oh, I have the Oil Painter's Color Handbook as a book that I want to read and like study from. That is painting. And we should put that in Q2 as well. Wait. Things are getting too much, right? Aren't they? Maybe not. Maybe they're not. Maybe we can do as much as we want and then sort of by month, possibly. I'm gonna keep adding books here. So we have the Artists Master Series Color and Light. Okay, so let's go back to our DIY art school curriculum. And let's just delete like all of this. Okay, so let's do Q1 curriculum. And we should turn this into a toggle, I think. And let's do our months in here: January, February, March. Okay, so in January, what would I like to do? I think in January I want to take dynamic sketching as well as composition for visual artists and maybe keep that there. And then February, what would I like to take then? I need to learn like the little shortcut thing for the to-do list. Okay. So I'm referencing right now what we've had over here and then putting that into months. So taking our quarterly plan, and then putting that into months for the quarter so we can kind of like have more accountability, more planning, just really try and like create a good system and like a good idea for how I want to balance all these classes. Along with like all of the other stuff that I'm doing, right? So like a big part of why the original curriculum failed is just because I was so busy, and having it sort of by modules, like no clear plan of when I wanted to take the modules, meant that I could kind of push onto the back burner inevitably, like forever. And that did not, as we know, result in like me following through. So let's think about February. Let's study Alla Prima 2 in February. I love that book so much. I have looked at it and I have read it a little bit and I want to read more of it. So let's put that as in progress. And then should we try Essential Techniques, a landscape drawing? I'm not going to put any coursework per se, like any courses or books in March. I'll probably still be reading Alla Prima 2. And then I'm going to give myself some room, if I need it, to put things in March if I have to. But let's brainstorm like some assignments. Let's do 2 master studies in March, 1 master study in January, small thumbnail paintings. Let's do like some maybe 10 sketchbook spreads. No, that's too many. 5 sketchbook spreads and 5 sketchbook spreads. Okay, so this is the kind of curriculum that I think will serve me much better. Let's duplicate it and then do a quarter 2, which of course will be April, if I can ever learn how to type correctly. April, May, and June. And then I think my plan will be to just plan the first 2 quarters because who the hell knows what my life is going to look like in July, you know what I mean? Oh, whoops. I deleted too much. Okay. So let's go over here and look at quarter 2 now. I think let's start off with Introduction to Landscape Painting. And then also look at Mastering Composition. And maybe just do that. And then in May, maybe we can think about the Oil Painter's Handbook. And by the way, like, it might turn out that for these books that I want to study, like Mastering Composition, the Oil Painter's Handbook, that I want to look at them much earlier and kind of flip through them casually. But then in the month assigned, I think the goal should be to do a much deeper dive. And hopefully by only having a couple of things on my plate for each of these months, like, they're not big projects, right? They're like kind of self-study things that I might be able to complete in a couple of weeks or like a weekend. I might be able to do a really big deep dive into one of these books. And so I think that will serve me better, right? Just because I'm like a working professional, I have a lot of stuff to do and I'm hiring people to help me out with that stuff, but it's still like a lot of like tasks. And I don't want to give myself more than I can handle, right? I think like having a good work-life balance and being able to have like nice variety in your workday is good. And I also want to make sure that I'm not just like taking these classes, like just watching them casually. I want to be an active participant, which is why I'm adding some of these like smaller things. And let's do 10 small thumbnail paintings. I've done 2 of those so far this week, and it's January 2nd. So I'm on track for that, I think, for sure. Let's do Color and Light by James Gurney in May. In quarter 2, we can add in Oil Painting for Beginners, which is a class that does involve still life painting. And then also have Dynamic Still Life for Artists, which is a book that I need to add in here. Because in June, I should have a lot of like fresh produce in my garden, right? Like I have a balcony garden set up right now that I've been working on, and maybe that is something that we can explore more in quarter 2. Why not? Okay. And then let's do 3 still life paintings. All right, now I'm gonna add in all of the links. Okay, that's cuter, right? But then we should probably get rid of the color on this. Okay, I'm gonna call this good. Definitely a huge revamp of this workspace. I think this will be much, much better. For my 10 thumbnail paintings, let's do maybe 5 landscapes, 5 still life. I already have 2 of those done. I'm gonna do 1 today, actually, and I think that'll work. This was a very chill, laid-back video, very much a behind-the-scenes kind of thing, like an insight into my Notion workspace and kind of how I think about planning and stuff and skill development. I think it's important to have just a plan, like a direction that you want to go in with your art. And I have a very clear direction of where I want to go with my art. And it's just a matter of like getting there, like working at it, you know what I mean? And I think improving sketching and composition and color theory and mark making and just like doing lots of practice will really help me get there. And I think courses are a really important part of that. I don't want to take like a whole university like semester schedule or anything, but I want to try and make a point of investing in myself and my future skills, because art is a thing that you make for your entire life. You know what I mean? It's a journey that never really ends, but I think it's also important to like try and be the best artist you can be. And that's really a thing that I'm really passionate about. And it's hard for me to like make the time all of the time to work on stuff, and it's an easy thing to put on the back burner when you have so many other tasks on your plate. But I think it's a really important thing. Like your creative practice is so important. Like when I don't paint for a while, I get so cranky and just like burnt out and tired and exhausted. And when I do paint, I feel invigorated. Like it's just so relaxing and enjoyable. It's like a really great puzzle to try and put all the pieces of a painting together and make it successful. So I've enjoyed practicing more lately, and I think it's made such a big difference in my art, and planning things out more, like even like individual paintings, like planning individual paintings out more has been so helpful in just improving the quality. Like that waterfall painting that I've been working on, that I am actually gonna like work on the video for, 2 videos for today, really like could not have come together if I hadn't planned. And there were points in time for that painting process where I had to scrap it and just start from scratch and just plan the piece more thoroughly. And that made such a big difference in the end result. And I would have abandoned that painting had I not planned. So I love planning so much. And as a really anxious person, it's just really great to plan more. So that is it for this exclusive video. It's again, it's really laid back, very behind the scenes. Let me know if you guys want more of this kind of stuff. I do plan to make more kind of put together exclusive videos in the future. And of course we have our audio newsletters, and it's just going to be a good time, I think. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.